Happy Friday and welcome to Nebraska Nightly.
Thanks for tuning in. Our top headlines for today include protesters surrounding the Lincoln Capitol Sunday afternoon in support of Ukraine and the departure of the musical theater coordinator at UNL. And in sports, we have all the highlights of UNL's latest basketball games.
And in our feature story, we'll look at a new series here in Lincoln that's bringing international and local students together.
This is Nebraska Nightly.
Live from the University of Nebraska College of Journalism and Mass Communications, this is Nebraska Nightly.
Thanks for joining us this evening for Nebraska Nightly. I'm Hallie Gutzweiler.
And I'm Haley Ryerson. Our top story of the day was held outside the Lincoln Capitol in support of Ukrainians.
As Russia continued its invasion of Ukraine, Lincoln residents and Ukrainians gathered at the state capitol on Saturday, February 26th to sing, pray, spread awareness, and show support for the country.
Ukrainian professor Ola Takarenko, who is the advisor of the UNL Russian Club, says one way to support Ukraine is to follow its representatives on social media. The UNL Russian Club regularly posts on Instagram and Facebook to inform students about events as they unfold.
One Ukrainian Fulbright scholar at the university, Mikhail Ivashenko, and a team of other scholars launched a campaign on Wednesday night that is raising money to support those in need in Ukraine. To learn more or to donate, visit Ivashenko's Facebook page. And here's the latest on the invasion according to CNN. Russian forces have occupied Europe's largest nuclear power plant, and Ukrainian and Russian forces are in a standoff in the southern city of Mykolaiv. Now for a story is ACUN government elections.
And the interim president will be Kristen
Honestly,
Trent.
It hasn't sunk in yet. It's one of the most involved and powerful student roles on campus. It's one of the most prominent ways of advocating for students every single day. It's really transitioning my role from, being a student to both, really leading a university and a student body to what we want to see in the future.
In more UNL news, a longtime professor at UNL is departing after 2 decades at the university.
Reporter Tanner Dykstra has more on the story.
Musical theater students at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln will say goodbye to Professor Elisa Bellflower at the end of the semester. Bellflower had been the musical theater studies coordinator at the university for 22 years. Bellflower said her position at UNL is being eliminated due to budget cuts.
The thing about having my position eliminated is I can understand it from the point of there has to be budget cuts and something has to go.
Bellflower said she cherishes her time at UNL, especially her experiences with students.
My attitude has always been that they are capable of doing professional work even though they're still students. There is so much that students can do that there is almost nothing that's impossible.
Krista Lawrence is a doctoral student in music arts and a graduate assistant for Professor Bellflower. She said Bellflower uses her professional connections to benefit her students' learning experience.
I think the thing that I find most impressive is how she brings in composers from New York City. We've done many readings of new musical works that haven't been on Broadway yet. They haven't been published. She's wonderful about promoting new musical theater.
Haley Shoemaker is a third-year doctoral student and a graduate teaching assistant in the School of Music. She's pursuing a career in teaching and said that frequent cuts to the arts are intimidating for a new teacher.
I'm going to be a first-time teacher starting out, so it's likely that if I go somewhere, I will probably be the first one cut in budget cuts. So it's scary as a future educator.
Bellflower said she has future career opportunities in the works, but will always miss her time at UNL.
I am very sad to leave this work. It has been a source of joy and pleasure and thrill and excitement for me, and I will miss my colleagues, and I will so miss my students.
Bellflower's final stage production at the university is She Loves Me. The The musical premieres tonight at 7:30 at the Kimball Recital Hall, with another performance scheduled for Sunday, March 6th at 3 p.m. For Nebraska Nightly, I'm Tanner Dykstra.
Thanks, Tanner. And more on local news, Elena Verdine has a story about local florists' hope after the global shortages.
It may be time to wake up and smell the roses. Local florists are suffering from the major impacts of supply chain issues, and the only people that can help them recover are their local customers.
Truly, one of our things is spread love through flowers, and seeing all of the love that is shared and how all of the people in other people's lives are super important.
Natalie Ellsbury owns the local flower shop Of the Earth and has a staff of only 8.
Major flower farms across the world were shutting down because you can't have workers getting sick, and so the flowers would die on the plants and then they would crash whole farms. So they would lay off workers. There was no one to do the work, let alone harvest and all of that kind of stuff, let alone buy flowers.
With poor growing conditions, supply chain issues, and prices increasing, the pandemic set the floral industry up to take a major hit. Stacy Adams, a professor of horticulture at UNL, has been tracking the changes in the industry since the pandemic began.
One of my colleagues sent me a message from the Ecuador Times on January 31st. They had 20,000 tons of roses they could not get out of the country because there was no airplanes. Ecuador is the #1 producer globally for roses.
Nearly 2 years later, prices are continuing to rise across the U.S. and orders are still being delayed or canceled.
It was kind of like a hard stop, but not all the way stop, because we still have to keep the doors open, we have to pay rent, so we have to figure out how we're gonna make it work.
Ahead of holidays like Valentine's Day, prices were even higher.
Right now for Valentine's Day, it's 20 to 30% higher. Last Valentine's Day, we had 4 boxes that didn't come for a week. They were dead, obviously.
Farmers started producing less with the lull in weddings and other special events. Worker shortages impacted nearly every stage in shipping, and travel bans between nations severely disrupted timelines.
And I think, a lot of sectors got some sort of, funding from governments to offset them. But this is one industry where there's really nobody to protect anyone.
It is no secret that flowers can't be grown year-round in Nebraska. Florists rely on farms overseas to produce sought-after flowers, many of which are the most popular in weddings and events, and florists have to make do with whatever arrives. While the future may still look uncertain, there is one way to make sure these local staples can stay.
You want to call your local florist, order from your local florist on their website, and just make sure that money's staying here where it needs to be.
Reporting in Lincoln, Elena Verdine, Nebraska News Service.
Thank you, Elena.
I got some beautiful lilacs this past week for my apartment. It was just so nice with the weather.
Yes, that weather was beautiful. That perfect 70-degree weather with the sunny, clear skies. Yes. Love it. Well, here is student meteorologist Carmela Latuca with your look at current drought conditions.
Thank you, Haley and Haley. Conditions have been very beautiful this week, but they've also been significantly dry. It's been so dry that this is the driest winter in Lincoln's history. But as we take a look at the map behind me, you can see these large areas of orange. Those are those areas of severe drought. But as we look in towards the Lincoln and Lancaster area, we can see this tan color of moderate drought. But if we don't get any precipitation soon, we could see that this severe drought could creep into our area and really intensify the conditions. But as we look into the 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook, we're looking at near or above normal precipitation. And as long as we stay out of this orange area of below normal precipitation, that does bode well for our area. And luckily, we're looking at the potential for thunderstorms this weekend, which could help relieve the drought conditions. For all that and more, stay tuned for the 7-day forecast.
All right, thanks, Carmelo.
Stay with us. We'll be right back with your full 7-day forecast after the break.
There's so many different choices that we're faced with as an undergrad, especially a first-generation undergraduate student.
McNair means to me opportunities and scientific discovery within a community that I wouldn't necessarily have the access to or the opportunity to be a part of.
I definitely do feel that the McNair program has helped me a ton in preparing for graduate school.
The most important thing that I learned from working with Dr. Harris and from managing my own research project within the McNair program is the idea of having a support system that can be with you in and out of the classroom as well.
To me, McNair is all about community and helping you, again, as an individual, achieving your goals.
I remember when I was a freshman, I definitely didn't have the confidence to really get into graduate school or do research, but it's definitely possible for anyone who wants to join.
McNair is one of, I would say, probably the most impactful part of my college experience because it aids specifically in my intellectual development with a bunch of other young scientific learners. I can look at McNair and say that this is the reason why I want to pursue what I want to pursue and have the confidence to pursue it as well.
Welcome back to Nebraska Nightly.
Student meteorologist Michael Amankwa has your 7-day forecast.
Well, good afternoon, Lincoln. It certainly has been a very cloudy but warm day. Current conditions right now, we have temperatures in the lower 70s and we have that moist south-southeast wind at 15 to 20 miles per hour. We're going to switch over to our surface features and take a look what's going on during our region. This warm front has been responsible actually for this warmer weather that we've been having and also the cloud cover. We do have our next storm system that is approaching from the Rockies, and this will be responsible for giving us precipitation chances as we head into this weekend into early next week. We do have this dry line set up that is currently in the Central Plains. This will also be responsible for potential thunderstorm chances with a slight risk of severe weather, especially to the east of our area. So taking a look at tonight's conditions, we're going to be down into the lower 60s. The cloud cover will be responsible for that with a slight chance for some showers and southeast winds at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Going into your Saturday, that's when we will have the chance for your showers and thunderstorms, and we will have winds switching from the southwest to the north as the dry line passes and then the cold front does approach our area with temperatures only in the upper 60s. Heading into your Saturday night, we will actually cool down a bit into the lower 20s, lower to mid 20s, and we'll have blustery northwest winds at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Your Sunday is looking to be quite clear actually, with some slight chances later during the day. Temperatures only reaching into the lower 40s, so quite a bit different from what we're experiencing right now, and north winds at 10 to 15. Your 7-day outlook, looking at your Monday, we will actually have a chance for some rain and snow as we head into the beginning of next week. Lower 50s as we head throughout the week on for your Tuesday and your Wednesday. Actually, we're looking quite dry with temperatures only in the mid 50s and lows from the teens and actually going into the mid to upper 20s with a chance for another shot of cold air by the end of next week. That is a look at your 7-day forecast. Back to you.
Thanks, Michael. If you have any weekend plans, it might be a good idea to get that umbrella out.
I will for sure need it tomorrow. And the latest, Nebraska COVID numbers continue to decrease across the state, and we have Nebraska Nightly's health correspondent Hannah Rupke with the latest.
At this week's Lancaster County COVID briefing on March 1st, Health Director Pat Lopez reported that the COVID numbers in the county continue to improve. So much so that the COVID risk dial moved from low orange to mid-yellow. This is the first time the dial has reached mid-yellow since October 2021. COVID cases have been on the decline for 6 consecutive weeks, and the hospitalization rate continues to be at a manageable level where healthcare workers don't feel as strained. The health department also has at-home test kits available in its main lobby during regular business hours. The department is open 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Thanks, Hannah, for the COVID update. The health department has distributed more than 1,200 test kits and encourages the community to stop if they need.
In other campus news, a new event series offers students the chance to explore the Lincoln community each week, and Jill Lemkins has the story.
Thanks, Haley. The event series Life in Lincoln allows students from all backgrounds to come together and explore Lincoln every Friday throughout the semester. The Life in Lincoln series is a weekly series that brings students together to explore Lincoln, build relationships, and meet others here on campus.
It's the opportunity for both international and domestic students to meet and interact, because so often that doesn't happen otherwise.
The series was started years ago by the new Student Enrollment Office, but due to the pandemic, it slowly faded away. Thanks to the Student Leadership Involvement and Community Engagement Office, along with the International Student and Scholar Office, the program has made a comeback.
I think it's really nice to meet different kind of people and learn from their cultures, their food, their programs, and you learn a lot from different people, so I guess it helps you grow as a person.
This is a great opportunity to meet new people and to get to know what to do here in Lincoln.
Each Friday, students meet in the Union Crib at 6:30 p.m. before heading out to that week's event.
Last Friday night, we had undergraduates, domestic students, and international students interacting together. So I think that it opens people up to building relationships with others that they may not have otherwise met on campus.
Everyone is welcome to join the Life in Lincoln series, even if just for one event.
We want to invite students to come and check it out and try it, and I think that they'll have a good time.
More information can be found on the NvolveU website, as well as the Life in Lincoln Facebook and WhatsApp page. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Jill. Well, stick around with us because after the break, we'll have the sports rundown with the Lincoln's own Alexis Markowski.
Is anybody down to go to a first gen event today? So what do you think?
Looks great. Let's go.
Welcome to First Generation Nebraska.
And welcome back to Nebraska Nightly.
Marco Yurkovich has this week's Sports Blitz, including news and highlights from both of the men's and women's basketball team.
Thanks, guys. First off, some big news from the women's basketball program. On Tuesday, the Big Ten announced that Husker Alexis Markowski had won Freshman of the Year, as well as being named to second team All-Big Ten. Markowski, who averaged 13 points and 8 rebounds per game this season, was also a unanimous choice, the only one for the Big Ten freshman or all-freshman team. Markowski and the Husker women's basketball team will be battling it out in the Big Ten tournament in Indianapolis this weekend before their eventual placement in the NCAA tournament. Now, on the men's side of things, Bryce McGowens is also a Freshman of the Year candidate. Despite being last in the Big Ten, he and the Huskers look to end the regular season strong this week. First up, they visited the Penn State Nittany Lions on Sunday. We pick up the action in the first half. After some great ball movement, Bryce McGowens drills the three-pointer on the wing. Now it's Trey McGowens with it, spins away from contact and slips it to Derek Walker, who caps a 9-0 Husker run with a slam dunk. Then Alonzo Verge Jr. drives right side and lays it high off the glass with the right hand. Then Bryce McGowens floats it to Alonzo Verge Jr., who penetrates inside after the pump fake and lays it in to put the Huskers up by 10. Now to the second half, Huskers in full control. Walker finds a cutting Bryce McGowens, who finishes with 25 points on the night. Then Trey McGowens with it. He works off a screen, then gets it to Lat Mayen, who knocks down the triple. Huskers were in control all night as they went on to win just their second conference game of the season, destroying Penn State 93-70. The team looked to continue their success as they traveled to Columbus to take on the 23rd-ranked Buckeyes. Huskers in transition here off the C.J. Wilcher steal, gets it to Verge Jr., who drops it back to Wilcher, who nails the deep three-pointer. Now Huskers down 5. Verge with a nasty crossover, then buries the free throw line jumper. Then on the fast break, Bryce McGowan's full head of steam into the paint and slams it in for the Huskers. Later, McGowan says, "I've got range too," as he hits the 3. He's just a very well-rounded player for Nebraska. Now here he is again, driving inside, and he's going to slam it down, definitely making his case for Freshman of the Year in the Big Ten. Now Huskers up by 6. Verge with the step back and the 3. Huskers are able to hold on and pull off the upset over the Buckeyes, 78-70. Their first back-to-back win since November, and their first win over a top 25 team since 2019. Seems like the Huskers are heating up just in the perfect time as they face Wisconsin on Sunday, then begin the Big Ten tournament play on Wednesday. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks Marco. Catch the Nebraska women's basketball team tonight as they continue their Big Ten tournament run versus Michigan in Indianapolis.
Stay with us, we'll be right back after the break.
There is a place for working individuals who want to work full-time and support their families to also pursue their dream, their educational dreams. So our graduates tell us that the program really broadened their perspective and they learned organizational context. They also learned to be good followers, team members, leaders, and effective members of the organization.
Welcome back to Nebraska Nightly. For our final story of the night, Omaha couple connects over shared love of cooking. Audrey Hurdle has the story.
I remember growing up, my house was the party house. We was the house that you go to have a good time and to have some good food. And everything that I can think of as far as memory goes has to do with food. My mother and I would bake together, cook together, and then she put me on duty to make dinner for the family when she was at work. So that's how I got into cooking. Actually, I stepped away from cooking for a while after my mom died in '09, and I went on different journeys, became a personal trainer, did some other different things. But when I got married in 2013, that re-inspired me to start cooking again.
My prayer when I was thinking about, okay, if I get married one day, whoever that person is, they need to know how to cook so that I don't have to cook and I can just enjoy the food.
She didn't cook at all. And I was like, I'm not about to starve. So I started cooking again.
His mother passed away and she left behind this green notebook filled with different poems that she had written for all of her kids, different stories, dreams that she had. And there was one particular poem that she had written. I can't remember exactly what it was about, but there was something in her words that really jumped out at Wes. And that's where the name Feeding Royals came in. It's from this poem that she had written.
I realized the connection she had with her mom and the community through food. Really kept inspiring me is when a friend of ours asked us could we cook for her parents. And so I did that, not knowing what I was going to do, how the day was going to look, but they loved it. And I realized that people outside of my family like my food. So that would really grew the passion. And while I was reading my mom's book that she wrote while she was in college, that's the first time I realized that she used to cook with her mom, for the neighborhood, for the pastors, the church. They used to sell dinners. So I'm like, oh, this is nothing new. Like, this is in my blood. This is in me.
His mom always invited people over to the house. She made her home a place that was open and accessible for people to just come, whether they needed help or it's just to hang out. and food was always the main character. We try to do that same thing when we go into other people's homes to prepare an experience for them. We think about, this is what Sherry would do. She would come in, she would get to know this person, she would find out what they need, what they want, what are their dreams, and we incorporate that into the food, we incorporate that into the questions that we ask. We always want them to leave feeling like, I feel like I'm at home. I'm not just at home physically, but I am at home with Feeding Royals.
Seeing how relationships played a key role in her life, and then how I grew up, how relationships played a key role in my life. I kind of missed that when my mom died. The parties, the get-togethers, we didn't have them as frequently, or if at all. So I wanted to bring that atmosphere and that connection that I got when I was growing up to the people that I was serving. We really focus on relationships. It's not a selfish thing. It reaches back 3 generations, of family members who've been doing this in the city. I have kids of my own now, and I want to leave memories with them. So they cook with me at home. When it comes to the business, we talk about the business, we talk about why we do the business, we talk about different things that we have cooked for the business. They might help me go shop.
It's important to our family. We try to do something where all of us can work together.
I actually feel like I'm living my purpose. Before, I was trying to find my purpose, doing different things, but this is the thing that I actually feel like I'm fulfilling my purpose.
Thank you, Audrey.
And before we go, we want to give a special birthday shout out to our director, Kellen Sturgis.
Happy birthday, Kellen. And thank you for tuning in to Nebraska Nightly. We will see you next week.